Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sanchanok. You're watching Sanchanok, and this is what you're going to learn today. We are going to totally change the look and feel of our e-commerce app. This is going to be the login screen, and this one is going to be our register or sign up screen. And this is all we're going to be doing now. And then we are going to make all of this Facebook login and sign up, as well as the Google one. We are going to make them work, but not in this particular video. For this video, we're only going to focus on the UI. I hope you're excited and see you inside. Bye. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Santos Enoch, and I'm here back again after quite a long time. But anyways, we're here. As you can see, our UI is quite different, and this is the same e-commerce app. Don't worry, this is the same. I just changed the UI, and I did a video on that. But at the end, the video got corrupt, and I couldn't do nothing to change that. So I mean, we will do one thing. I will go and modify the sign up screen for the new UI, and from that point you will see how we end up with this design in here. But I did nothing special, and I believe that most of you guys will be able to understand what happened because I'll give you guys the code. But if we go to our create account, so this was the base that we had previously, you see. So now let's do some modifications to make sure our sign up screen looks similar to our login screen, and you guys will understand how this was done. To make that possible, let me go to sign up screen, and the very first thing I did was the very first thing I did was, okay, let's start putting in the work here. We'll change this list view into a column. Done. We will remove from here upwards, we will remove everything, and if I do a this is what's going to happen. Okay, but that's okay. And then what are we going to do after that is we do have a lot of stuff going on here. Remove this padding, and boom, everything will go to the top. I'm not sure why I do have a lot of center widgets here. I'm not really sure about that. I'll remove. We're going to have an error, of course, but that's not a big problem. Okay, perfect. Now what are we going to do here inside of our column? Inside of our column is here. We'll just do main axis alignment, and we're going to main axis alignment center, and this will just put everything to the center, and that's perfect. And with that done, you can just come here and change from white to gray on these fields. And if you see on the screen what's going to happen, we're just changing the background color of this because gray is somehow easier to see, so we are going with gray. For the color of this text, first of all, let me remove this color here, and for the text we can go with black. Let's try. Okay, it's fine for me. And finally, we have the password field here. For our password field, we need to change here the color. Put it on gray again and 2, but the password field is slightly bigger than the other ones, and I don't like that very much. To fix that, just come to our text field. We'll add a widget, and it's going to be a list tile. We're going to put title in there, and another list tile in here, and we're going to put title as well. Okay, we can leave it at that. Of course, here we can have this login slightly more visible, but instead of login I can write something else like already have an account, and I can put that text in deep orange, and maybe we can change the size to something like 18. Too big, 16. Okay, looks good. And what else is missing here? We can come here at the very top. We want to insert that logo, but I don't want to code that again because we have the logic here. First, we're going to check this row, and if you check, this row only contains a material button with 2 images, and these are the Facebook and the Google image. I'll just copy them from here. I'll go to my sign up screen right after I have an account, which is here. We will just paste them here. Okay. And again, a small thing I can improve here is copy this R code, paste it down here. I already have an account. I'll give this some space, or sign up with. Okay, looks good. But I'm not completely happy yet. So at the very top, I'll just come to my login, since I'm just copying and pasting this. Here is where we have that small logo I created. I downloaded. I'll copy that, and I'm sorry. I'll put a deep orange into that, and at the very top, which is, as a matter of fact, here for the male and female, I think we don't really need this field. It doesn't make much of a difference, at least not now, so I'll get rid of that. And here at the very top, at the very top, I'm going to boom, and here we have a logo. We can just add padding to make it look even better. Okay, padding can be of 16, it's fine. Okay, and just like that, this is done. We're following the same concept. If we have the login screen here, we can go to create an account, and this is what we have. This is the flow that we have. That's completely fine. That's good. Now let's make all of this stuff actually work. Hello guys. Since you guys app first and then focus on the other ones, this is what we're going to do. So for today's video, we are going to do the update on the Google sign in and sign up, because they really changed the way it works. Okay, first of all, you have to make sure that you have this on your pubspec file, but I believe you guys have the Google sign in. Okay, and if you are using Android, there's nothing more you have to do other than this. But if you are on iOS, you have to do a small thing as well, which is you have to open your iOS, and then we will want to open our runner, because we want to edit our info plist. Okay, and I believe I have this. Alright. Okay. Let me 1 second. Let me open my, and I'll write here Flutter Google sign in. You have it. And what we want is to open in here. And then we will want to copy this piece of code in here. And this is for configuring the Google sign in using iOS. After you have that copied, you can put this on full screen. I have it here already actually, but I'll just copy it again to make sure you guys understand how this happened. Okay, this is what you have to do, and the final part is you have to replace this string down here with the actual reversed client ID. And where do you find that reversed client ID? You just go to your Google info plist, and now we will be looking for the reversed client ID, which is this one. Copy the reverse client ID, and you go to info plist, and just like that, we're going to paste that. Okay, This is all you have to do on your iOS side. Don't worry if you guys are using Android and this is being boring. Don't worry, it's done. Now let's see how this is structured, and now is the time to start managing the project properly, because there's a lot of mess here on the code of this whole structure, but we are going to we're going to come back into it afterwards. But there's something I usually do, and I would recommend you guys to start doing as well, because there's a lot of things that you just repeat the code over and over. And to avoid that, I'll just create a new Dart file, and let's call this commons slash common, for example. And we're going to have this new Dart file. And I like to do this way because I think it's better. So inside of here we can just import the Flutter material package, and to be able to define some variables that are going to be global. Colors, for example, if I want to use this orange, and I'll just set that equal to, let me go back to the login and see, this is actually deep orange. So I can copy this and come back to the comments, and here I'll give this the name of deep orange, and then okay, this is supposed to be color because we are only specifying a single color. Then we have colors dot deep orange. Okay, now this is misspelled, deep orange. Now what's the big advantage of doing this? The big advantage of doing this is we can just come back to the login, and every time we want to make use of this deep orange, we just write deep orange. Of course we'll need to import, let me zoom. Of course we'll need to import, and that's all. Now just write colors deep orange and it's done. Let's do the same for black, just to make sure you guys get my point. Go back to the comments, and we are going to define color black being equal to this, and when we go back to the login, instead of writing all of this every time we want to use black, we'll just write black. Isn't this great? Okay, so this is just to show how we're going to flow, how the flow is going to be in here. Now let's go back to our DB, and we will create another file. I'm going to call this auth for authentication, because this is going to deal with all the authentications we may need to do. And I believe that I may need to import some packages in here, like the Firebase auth. We're going to need this. We're going to need to import our Cloud Store as well, and we're going to need to import what's that? The Google sign-in. Okay. I'm going to create an abstract class here, and for now we'll just define a method which is going to be a feature of the type Firebase user, and we're going to call this Google sign in. Okay, and now we can define a class. We're going to call this class auth for authentication, and it implements base auth. We are going to have an error because we need to override this method. So what I'm going to do is done. So now we have this method. What we have to do now is, let's go back to our pubspec file and let's make sure we're using the latest version of the Google sign-in and all of the other packages. So we will need to update this. I want to change the version because this one might be too old. So we have that, the new version I want to use, and let's check the Firebase auth as well. Just to make sure we're running on the latest version of everything, or most of the things we want to use for now at least. Where's our Firebase auth? Here it is. Run a basic packages get here. Okay, now we have some problems. What does it say? Cloud functions, blah blah blah. The Cloudflare store. Let's update this as well. Oh, as a matter of fact, what I can do, because I don't want to waste time going to one project at a time, is I could, okay, you know, let's do that like this. Firestore. We copy this and we're going to paste where we have Firestore. Here we have it. Let's run a packages get. Now we have a version problem with this. I will specify the specific version afterwards. I'll just put any to save us some time. Okay, perfect, it's working perfectly. Okay, so we had to come in and change a bit the dependencies here. Now let's go back to our Google sign-in method and start working on the process of changing that. So the very first thing you will want to do here, we'll define a final Google sign-in. We're going to call this Google sign-in is equal to Google sign-in. Boom, it's done. Or since this is going to be used only here inside of this method, I can just define inside here everything. The first part that we want is done. We want the final Google sign-in account. Google sign-in account, which is going to be equal to our Google sign-in dot sign-in. We are signing our Google user in, but since this is going to return a future, we'll need to await. and then we need the final Google sign-in authentication, and we can just call this Google Auth because I don't want to give it that a very long name. Of course, we'll need to use await, and we are going to be awaiting for. Here we can change this to Google account only, just a variable name. You don't have to change it if you don't want. Google one account dot authentication, and here we are running our authentication for that user. And now we're going to run another finals going out credential, and this is the difference. This is how things are done now. So we're going to get the credentials for the user inside of another object called, or another class called Google provider is what we want. Google Auth provider dot get credentials, and for the ID token you'll just write Google Auth dot ID token, and for the access token we are going to use again Google Auth called a dot access token. Let me try to make this more visible. So this is the way it works. Now you use this auth credential, and here we define for the Google provider, we get the credentials for the ID token and the access token, and both are going to be properties of the Google authentication. Now when we have that done, we can just use a try and catch block. We could do this differently, but it's okay. It's okay. Now inside of here we are going to try to get our Firebase user await. We may need to create another object here, Firebase auth, which is going to be equal to Firebase auth. Firebase auth instance. Now what we're going to do here is create again our Firebase authentication instance, and then we'll just specify sign in with credential, and we're going to get the credential. Okay, and this will do, and from here we can just return our user, and inside of here we want to print our error in case we get any, and then we can return now. Okay, perfect. Now let's just import Dart sync here. Okay, so here there's a lot of things going on, but for now this is all we have to do. This is the code that has to be here. Done. What we can do now, let's go to our sign up page. Let's go to our sign up page, And here inside of our sign up, we are going to remove all of this code related to the sign up or the creation of users from here, but probably on the next video because I don't want to make this too long. But anyways, for now I'll just write here auth for the authentication and just alt enter and import this. Okay, that's perfect. Now we're going down, down, down. For example, here, as we did our improvement, we can delete this and just write deep orange, just like that. And we'll need to import this file, just like that. And even for white, I can go to our comments, and now we'll oops, and I'll define another color, white, and I'm going to call this white. So this kind of makes the process easier. Where is the file we're working on? Here. So here, instead of writing colors.white, I can just come and write white. That's good. That is good. Okay, now we have here the Facebook option and the Google option. We're going to make this asynchronous, and in here we'll just hit auth.google sign in, but this is going to return something, which is our Firebase user await, of course. Oops. And then what are we going to be doing here is, if our user is not null, we can first do our user services dot create user, and create user expects a string of values that I kind of forgot how they're structured, but I'll define them here. I'll provide name being equal to user dot display name. Okay, I'll provide the photo or the picture, profile picture of the user. It's going to be equal to user dot for the URL, and the final thing that we want from this user would be his email address, which can only be user dot email. Let's see how this is structured now. And here I'm using Firebase database, but I don't want to do this. I want to use let me go back here. I want us to start using Firestore because that's better. So now we are going to open up our users file. We don't need you anymore, Firebase database. Bye. So here we need our Firebase Firestore instance, and that's all we need. Now in here, let's change the way this works as well. I know there's a lot of modifications, but bear here with me and it's going to be done soon. And to be simple, let's write here Firestore instead of database. So we have firestore.collection, and the name of the collection, just change here to collection, and the name of the collection is going to be user. So collection dot document. We are going to value from that map, and we'll define a value called key. And then finally we have set data, and here we have values, or to make this simple, we can call this data. Okay, kabumba, it's done. So what are we doing here is we are setting an instance of the Firestore. So we're creating a collection document. The document ID is going to be the data key, and then we have here set data. Or to make this easier for you guys to understand, I can just write user ID. Okay, perfect. Now when you go back to our sign up screen, we just have to add here that our user ID is equal to user.uid, and this user ID is going to be used as the document ID. Okay, after this is done, we will want to go straight to our home page. But to make that possible, I don't want to write all of that code, so I will show you guys a trick, because I don't like code repetition. We can come here to our comments, and I'll comment here, I'll write methods, and this is just a set of methods that we use over and over. Change screen is the name of the method, and it's going to take a build context and a widget. So we took a build context and a widget. So what are we going to do here is navigator dot push material page route. From that particular context, we want to build our widget, and that's all. So every time we want to change a screen, instead of writing that again, we'll just use this method, and here change screen replacement, and here I'll just put push replacement. Okay, that's all. Now let's go back to our sign up, and finally we have here, if that process is done, we will want to use change screen replacement, and in here we want to go straight to our home page. So guys, this is the coding that has to be done for this to work. See you on the next one. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all doing great. And as you can see, what we have on the screen is slightly different from what we had on our last video, but that's me just trying to make things while I'm not recording. I don't know why, but okay, just to go through this, just to show you what I did. But don't worry, since it's just the UI, you can just copy this. So I have this effect here with this shadow, and you have this for both the login and the sign up. So to have this cool effect, what you have to do, or what I did, is this container out here is not needed, but anyways, I just wrapped our form inside of a container, and I gave a decoration for this container. I just provided the color white, and then I defined the radius of the container as 15, and then I defined the box shadow color to gray 350, so it's kind of a light gray, and the blur radius. So that's all you have to do to have that good effect. You just have to copy this piece of code. And lastly, for our Google, I just inserted the Google icon button in a row. So that's all, but I will provide you the code. You can see, George, this is just a row or sign up with, then I have this option. Okay, I'm not really sure what are we going to do exactly on this video, but since I'm updating the UI and I don't really like how our main screen looks, or homepage. Oops, we have an issue here. 1 second. Okay. I'm having an issue here, but this is because I deleted the database, and I believe that what I have to do to fix this is to open our Google services.json. But this is the old one. I need to update this because I deleted the database. So okay, I will stop the video and then I'll do all of that Firebase configuration for Android, and we'll continue from that. No, actually I think I don't have to do that because this is on iOS, so I only have to go to the runner here and open our Google. Okay, we're going to copy this. Okay, and what else do we need? Let's go to our info list, and here we're going to paste this. Okay, hopefully this is going to fix our error. Lost connection with the device. Okay, that's not a big problem, and I'll try to do a Flutter run, and this may take a while, but hopefully once everything is done. So for today guys, we are going to edit our home page a bit because I don't really like how it looks now, and I feel like changing it because from the next videos we are going to be getting the products that the admin will submit to the database. We're going to get them or get those from the home page of the user. So I just want to make sure that the home page looks good now, and yeah, that's it. I think I have to I better stop the video and then I'll come back to it once it's loaded. Hello beautiful people. Well, I'm running into issues because I changed the reverse client ID on the info list, and somehow it's still checking for the old one. I don't know what's happening, but we'll have a look into that, and I don't want to waste a lot of time trying to fix that particular problem. So what I can do for now is basically trying to create a normal sign up. I'll create a user, I'll call him Santos. As a matter of fact, I'll call him test. For the email, put test@test.com. And I'll put my test password and let's see if this works. That's not good. Okay, let's see what the error says. I guess there's something has to do with the subtree. Okay, I think that's the following assertion. There are multiple heroes that share the same tag within a subtree. Okay, the problem now is with our home screen, I believe. Our home screen. And what do we have to do to fix this? How can we fix this? Is going to our products, I believe. Or for now, let me just comment here. And that's the problem of spending a lot of months without opening the project. Things break and you don't really know what's happening, but let's see. Okay, I get the issue. I know what the problem is, and we will fix that just now, because we do have a lot of them. And for now, here for the categories, there's a quite deal of things that we can do here, but let's focus on the main goal. And for now, our main goal is change the way the app looks like, right? Correct. So let's try to do that one step at a time. The very first thing we are going to do is, I want this to be white, and we can just do import this, and it's done. And here you can just write e-commerce app, whatever, e-commerce style, text style. Change this a bit. Oops. It has to be text style. And for the color, I want to give it deep orange. And you see the advantage of just defining all of these colors in a particular file is because here we just come and do this. We just write the color deep orange, boom, it's done. And that's it at the end of the day. Okay, let me try to do a control save and see how this looks like. Let's come in here to our and we'll put a deep orange here. Okay, perfect. We are able to see that. Another thing we can do here to make sure our app is going to be looking good is mm, icon theme, is this what I want? Icon theme data color deep orange. Boom, perfect. And the very last thing we are going to do here to change the way our app looks like is basically going back to our, let us go back to our sign up screen. And here on our sign up screen, I just want to make use of something, and that something is our text field. Exactly. So let's copy this material, the same one we are using for the password. Let's come and copy that, and I hope you guys are able to see this properly, because I'm just trying to make sure you see what's on the screen while you see the code while you see what's on the screen at the same time. Anyways, here for the title, instead of giving this text, let's erase this e-commerce and let's paste this. Boom. And here for the icon, we want to give it search. The only validation we need is to ensure that this is not empty. That's all. We can change here. Here we can write search controller. Perfect. And then we have to come at the very top and define our text editing. We need the text editing controller. That's what we need. And we are going to call this search controller equal to new text editing controller. And I'm sorry for the new, because you don't need to do this. Okay, let's come down here, and for the icon here we can remove this. We can just write here search ... and put search here as well. Let's control save this, and it looks ugly. It's okay, it looks ugly for now, but that's because first of all we have this padding in here, and I don't really think this looks super nice. Okay, let's give it padding all, and then I'm going to give this a padding of 0. Okay, that works perfectly nice for the text. Here, instead of a list view, because somehow this list view is not looking nice, let me try to copy this text, and we are going to take that out and put it here. Okay, okay. Now maybe I can add an icon here. Okay. Hmm. I'm not really enjoying the way it looks very much. Let's go back to our list view. Sorry. I'm sorry for that. Boom. Oh, let us try to remove this. It does look good, in fact, but this search bar is kind of big for my taste, and I don't really like it very much. And that's a problem of the list view. What we can do is just give a deep orange for this, and then we'll take this text field here out of the list view, because the list view, it's making it look very ugly for me. The list style, I'm sorry, not the list view, the list style. And take this out of the padding, and I'm going to place this thing here. Perfect. And the background color of this as well. Let's give it a gray 100. It looks way more better. Okay, that's good. I think that's good. The second thing I want to do here, and as I told you, this is kind of a freestyle video, so just be patient a bit. Good, we missed you. So I'm going to have this thing here showing images and all. So what are we going to do at the very top here is apply other modifications. Let's put autoplay true. We can try to use BG color too. Colors dot transparent is what I'm trying to do, but my Android series sometimes start lagging and I don't know why. Boom, perfect. We have quite something here, and we will try to make sure our images are going to be loading from the database. So just we can leave this like that for now, but we're going to change that. The other thing I want us to rethink now is related to this, our products. So let's open up the products page, and we have all of that, and we have a grid view builder. Perfect. This is what was causing some issues, I believe. Let's try to build everything from scratch. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. Now we have a problem. As a matter of fact, I don't even know why I use this here, because I think that we can in fact do this without having to use a hero. Let's rebuild our app. Okay, and now the problem here is on the fact that images products, this directory is not being found. So let's go to the pubspec file and try to make sure that this is going to be displayed. So we can just put here images slash products, images slash cats, random packages get here. Perfect. Let's try to rerun and hopefully we're going to get those images now. Sorry. Okay, I think we may need to place the images here manually, but I'm not really willing to do that now. So what I can do, because we didn't get the images anyways, so what I can do to make our lives easier is coming over here, finding any one of these images, copy it, and go back to our products. Erase couple of these. And we're just going to put that path here, and we don't have to suffer too much doing this, because anyways we're going to get those images from Firebase in a second, you know. But just to make sure the UI is correct before we even get the images from Firebase, that's what we're trying to do at the end of the day. Boom, this is what we want, we have it. M2, I guess I had an image called M2. Okay, we don't have that. Let me copy a path of a couple images. And I'll paste that here. And maybe we can repeat this like 2 times. Can just copy this and okay, perfect. Doing like that, maybe it's not going to load. Let's go back to home and go back to our projects page and change that. And finally, let's find another one. Okay, done. Perfect. And we have everything restructured down there. Now let's start making sure of a couple things here. For our single product, we have product name, product price. So the subtitle we can erase. I think it's not that much important. Okay, that's good. That's the first part that it's important. And this is the footer. Boom. Let's try to remove this and see how things are going to play out. Not super good. Okay, that's good. I want to put this as a white color. Okay, good. I like that. And actually, I believe that this should be the title. The product name should be the title, and we can just put trailing on this. That's good. Now we have this here. We can just increase the font, but let me give it a deep orange color. I'm going to import our file. Perfect. Let's increase the size a bit. Put something like 18. How good is that? That's the question. Or 20. Okay, I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough. And what else do we need now? Now we can go ahead. I mean, is it ready? Can we start? Do you guys think we can start bringing our objects from Firebase? Anyways, let's try to put a container here. and see how it's going to look. A bit bigger, okay, but that's okay. We may need some decorations in here, but since I don't want to write that all over again, let's go back to the home page first. On our home page, we are going to boom, boom, boom. And now, as a matter of fact, no, okay. On home page, let us comment this for now. No, not the image carousel, but the categories, because they're not displaying the horizontal list. This is what we want to comment for now, and we're going to have that out of the way. Sure thing. And we can put this thing inside of a row. And for this side, we can just provide a divider and see how things are going to play out. Okay, not very much because this is not displaying, but no problems. Let's define our main axis alignment to center. Sure. For padding, the main axis alignment center is not that good. I didn't like it that much. And for now, we can comment this as well. Okay. I guess that somehow we're starting to have something on our UI. We will focus on displaying the images first from the database, and then we're going to apply more changes. Okay, the last part we can do on this particular video before we even leave. First, I can come and change this color here to a deep orange. And finally, what we're going to want to do here is we want to open our product details. Okay, but our product details file is empty. Okay, we will take care of all of this on our next video. Okay, yeah, I believe that for now we can just stop here. So see you guys on the next one. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to learn something super important. We are going to integrate the Firebase authentication, meaning sign in, sign up, and sign out, using provider for managing our states. If you are following my e-commerce tutorials, you already know this UI because we're using that on these e-commerce tutorials. But if this is the first video you're seeing on my channel, you can still follow this particular video even though you're not following the e-commerce tutorial. For the e-commerce followers, I removed all of the code from this page, and if you remember, this is the login page, this is the sign up page. I removed all of the code related to Firebase authentication from the sign in and sign up page, and the code remaining is only the UI, is the code that provides us this structure here and for the sign up as well. So the code here is only related to the UI. Okay, this is the code. I won't explain this because I've built this live. I mean, I have videos of this. If you want to check how we got into here, you can go back to my previous videos. If you're only interested in knowing how can you work with Flutter, Firebase authentication and provider, you can just continue from here. Okay, with that being said, I would like first to give a big props to this guy, the owner of this article, because that's a very good article, and I actually went ahead and read this particular article. So I would recommend you guys to go ahead and read this, because most of the work here I did based on the knowledge on this particular article, and I'll try to leave the link in the description. With that said, let's go and start working with our provider package. The very first thing you'll want to do, you can just do this, and now we can just write here Flutter provider. That's it. You just come here, you open up, and we are going installing, and that's that. Let's go back to our project, and we will open our pubspec file, and I'll put this on full screen for now because we don't need to be seeing the emulator as well. And we are going to put here a provider package and hit on get packages. We already have a basic video for beginners about providers, and if you did not see that one, I recommend you to go back to that particular video, because there I give you the basic knowledge you must have to understand this particular one. Okay, perfect. With this out of the way, how are we going to structure this? It's going to be like that. We're going to our library, we are going to create a new Dart file. Since our provider deals with our business logic, you can leave it like that. Or to be easier, you can just write provider, so that actually let me delete this, because we don't want to have any naming conflicts. So what are we going to do here? Okay, we'll create a Dart file. We are going to call this file provider. We are going to call this folder provider, and the file we're going to call it user provider. Okay, I have a lot of files open here, so let me go ahead and close these ones. Perfect. Now we can start working with our provider. The very first package we'll want to import here is our Flutter material.dart, and we want to import Flutter widgets. Let me just move my, okay, perfect. And then what we're going to do, we are going to create a enum that's going to take care of the current status of the user. Status. So we are going to, one second. Okay, perfect. We are going to create different status for the user. and we can write here uninitialized, and then we're going to create another status. A user can be initialized, user can be authenticated, it can be authenticating, and can be unauthenticated. Okay, so what's going to be the use of this? The user can only be in one of these states. Uninitialized means the user just opening the app, so we are having the splash screen. When the user is unauthenticated, we are going to put him on the login screen because he needs authentication. When the process is going on, the authentication process, we are going to need the circular progress indicator. And when the user is authenticated, the user will be logged in into the app. This is a very good structure to follow, and I think it's perfect. So let's create a class, and we're going to call this user provider with change notifier, and I already explained you guys why we do this on our previous video. We need here we need to import Firebase auth because we're going to be dealing with authentication and all. So in here we are going to create Firebase auth and we're going to want a Firebase user, and we're going to call him user as well. And finally we are going to create a variable status that's going to keep the status of the user. And when this object when a particular object of this class is created, we want the status to be unauthenticated, uninitialized. Okay, this is going to be the first status of the user, uninitialized. We're going to create a named constructor. You're going to call this initialize, and then for this constructor we want our auth for authentication. It's going to be Firebase authentication instance, and in here we want auth on state change. This is going just to be listening to the state of the user. So when the state changes from initialized or authenticated, we want to be listening. And if you saw the videos about the block pattern, I gave you guys a brief introduction about streams. So now here we are subscribing to a particular stream because the way Firebase gives information, it gives as streams, and we are subscribing to a particular stream, and we are listening to that particular stream. And we are going to create a method called onChanged. On status changed, you can do that. So every time the status of the user is changed, this method is going to be called. The state is changed, so let's call it state. Okay, perfect. From now We want to create this method, but still we will define the body of this method afterwards, not now. Don't want to worry about with that now. Okay, continuing our class, we want to create a getter for our status that will enable us to get the particular status of the user, and we want to be able to get the user. So we're going to create another getter called user that's going to give us access to this private user. Okay, perfect. This is done. Let me organize stuff in the correct position. So put that there, and I'll put this here. Okay, perfect. Now let's create a method, and it's going to be a boolean, and this method is going to deal with our sign in. And now we are only worrying about the email sign in, and we are going to be dealing with the Google one afterwards. Okay, perfect. For our sign in, we're going to be taking a string email, and we're going to be taking another string password. We want it to be as async method. Perfect. We will put a try and catch block in here. Okay, the very first thing we are going to do is changing the status of our user. So when we try to sign in, the first thing we want to do is to make sure that the status of the user is going to change to authenticating. Okay, this is the first point. And then notify listeners, and as we know, this is just going to notify to our listeners that something changed inside of this provider. That's the very first step. And after our listeners are notified, we are going to be actually doing the sign in with email and password, and we're going to provide email here for the email and password for the password. And if everything runs right here, we're going to want to return true, meaning the execution was perfect. In case of an error, unauthenticated is what we want to print, or is what we want to show, and then we'll notify. We can do a print here to string so we can see the error in case we have any, and finally we want to return false. Simple thing here. At the beginning, just changing the state to authenticating, and we're going to notify listeners, and then we're going to perform the email sign in with the sign in with email and password, and that's all. Then return true. That's all we have to do. And since we're here, we can go ahead and define all of the methods we're going to use. Maybe we can change the rest afterwards. Another method, in fact, I don't want to write this over again, so because they're very similar in terms of structure. So we're going to copy and paste and do a sign up. But for the sign up, we're going to want to have the username as well. So we may need to ask for that name. Okay, in here this is perfect. And then here we want a sign in with email. No, we don't want to sign, we want to create an account actually with email and password. And then we are going to get a user from this Firebase user, and inside of that, let's take a second to see how our user okay, user ID and the rest is up to us. Okay, perfect. Let's go back here. We're going to create a map, and we're going to define this map as being a map of a string and a dynamic. Okay, and inside of this we are going to define the name of the user, and this is going to be equal to name. We're going to define the email of the user, and that's going to be equal to email. And finally we are going to define the user ID. Oops. User ID, and it's going to be equal to user dot uuid. Okay, that's all. The very last thing we want to do here is come to our user services, because we need to define this in here. Let's import it. So here for the sign up, what are we going to do is at the end we're going to create user services, create user, and we're going to pass values in here. And if we go to create user file to check how this works, this is basically a small class I created. We have here Firebase, we have Firestore instance, and we are creating a small collection of the type of the name users, and this is all that we need. Okay, that's that. Okay, with that part done, let's continue with our coding. We are going to create another feature, and this is going to be responsible for the sign out of the users. Auth.sign out. We're going to change the status of this. unauthenticated is the status, and then we're going to notify listeners of the change we did, and we're going to finish this with a return future delayed for actually you don't need to write this line here, you can just return a future. But since future work asynchronously, here you can define the duration that this must take to return this particular value. That's what they use the return feature with the duration. Okay, with that out of the way, we can continue coding. And as a matter of fact, let us start working with this method on state changed. Let's make it a future. It can be void, but it has to be made a future. And let's make this asynchronous as well. So we have here the event, we can change the name of that to user. That's actually the event. So if the user is null, meaning that we don't have any Firebase user logged in at least, we're going to put here our status to unauthenticated, or else our private user here is going to be equal to this Firebase user. And finally we're going to change our status to status.authenticated. So we will be listening here when we initialize here, we will be listening to this stream on state change. And when this state changed, we're going to check if we get a Firebase user has null, we're going to continue authenticated. And if we have a Firebase user which is not null, we're going to change the status to authenticated. Okay? And of course, for any changes done, we want to then notify listeners. Okay? So for this part of the work, everything is done. Let's continue. Let's work with the main now. Let's work with the main. First of all, we will want to import the provider package. Done. The very first part is done. And here we have our material app. What I'm going to do here is remove this material app for now, and for the run, the very first thing we're going to put here is our change notifier provider. Of course, we need a builder, and our builder is going to be we may need to import something else for our user provider. Can I import it already? No. Okay, let me do a small. Let me import our user provider. Initialize. That's that. And then after this, we want to define a child, and inside of the child now we can return our material app, no problem. And another thing I would like to change here is I'll create a stateless my app. Oh, I can just call it screens controller, and what I'm going to do here is for the home I'll call screens controller. And what screens controller will do is basically return a screen or particular page, a particular screen based on the status of the user. Okay, and for now here on our pages I can go and create a file. As a matter of fact, I will create it down here and then we'll change. Let's create another stateless. I'm going to call it splash, and it's going to work as our splash screen. For now, let's just put the circular progress indicator. That's all. But no, anyways, I think we better do that. Here on our pages. Call this splash. Done. Go back to the main. Copy this. So copy the splash screen there. We'll put it here. Of course, we'll need to import. We'll need to import our Flutter material.dart. That's all for our splash screen. Done. Okay, so I won't explain what it's happening here with the change notifier, because for the beginners video I touched this particular concept, so I hope you guys understand. And if you're not understanding, go back and check that video and then come to this particular video. Okay, perfect. Now what are we going to do here is right in here down here, we'll create a file. I'm going to call it user provider of context. User provider is what we want. So what we're doing here is basically defining the type for our particular provider. User is the type user provider, but that's something you guys know already, hopefully. Now here we're going to use a switch statement, and for our case we'll be analyzing our user dot status of the user, and here we can have a couple cases. First we'll start with what happened with our status dot initialized, and when this particular thing happens we want to return splash. Another case we want to check here we can check our unauthenticated status. Yes, unauthenticated status. And it's going to be the same case for our status authenticating. We can just return or login. Okay, and then finally, of course, our final case status is when the user is authenticated and we want to return our home page. We can just do this and import our home page, and for the default I can just put return the login screen. And ladies and gentlemen, for this particular part, this is how our main file will be structured now. Okay, we have our screens controller, as I told you, that is going to manage our screens and the screen that it's going to be returned. And I don't know if you guys can already feel how practical is this, but if you're not, just wait. Now let's see how can we make this work in terms of code. Of course, we will need to, first of all, I can delete all of this. We'll need to import, probably we'll need to go back and then provider and then user provider. Okay, perfect, that's all. For our initial state we don't need nothing, so we can just erase that. And our work, it's going to start from let's create a final key. This is going to be our scaffold. State key, and right inside our scaffold we can provide our key property as being key. Okay, that's perfect. Let's go back to our main, close it in here. Let's go back to our main. Let's just copy this particular line because I don't want to write it again. We don't have provider, so we better import the package. And while we're still here, let's go to our sign up page and do the exactly same thing. I have problems with the provider, import packages, and for the user provider as well. import packages. Okay, and if I go back here, we need this key for and then we're going to use the value of this particular key for this scaffold. Okay, now we're not worried about gender or the value of this, so I can just erase that and go at the very bottom here on value change. We don't need this anymore. Okay, let's start by configuring our login, and we want to work with this exactly on here. Okay, uh, we have our method here validate, which doesn't exist, so we're going to create this method which we want to be asynchronous, of course. And inside our method we're going to check if our form key current state validates. So we want to check if our form is valid, and then if, zoom it a bit, we want to await our user. Okay, we cannot do this outside because of this reason. We have our user there, so the best approach here is coming directly on the on press. Why did I change? Because I want to make use of this user here, but this is defined inside of the build, and outside of the build I cannot access that. Anyways, async method, and I'm going to call this user sign in, mail text controller, but these names are very long. I don't know why I like doing this. So here I'll just put email, and here I'll just put password. The best thing to do is renaming, not just changing. So I'll go refactor, rename, or I think you can do this with F6, shift F6. Okay, perfect. Now we can go back down here and just write email.text, and password.text. Okay, I think that here that's all we want from this particular part. And for our key, we want to make use of our current state, and remember that this key is the key of our scaffold, so it gives access to it gives access to our scaffold. So on our scaffold we want to show a snack bar, and the content of the snack bar we want to show is this is going to be shown in case the login or the sign in is not correctly. We'll write sign in failed. Okay, that's what we have to do. Let me just copy this and I'll paste it on our sign up screen right here. Again, I'll have to rename this fields. Shift F6, mail. Shift F6, password. Shift F6, name. Done. But now we want to change something else. And what are we doing here, just to explain to you guys, because it seems like I forgot. We are checking if our sign in is not true. If this is false, meaning that something failed, we're going to display this text, this snack bar, saying that sign in failed, and here would be sign up failed. And here we want to change this method from sign in to sign up. Of course, we need another thing here, which is name dot text. And if you see the magic, that's all. That's all we have to do on our UI. Now we're making use of a provider, and we are completely separating the business logic of the app from the UI, because the UI here doesn't worry about nothing, doesn't manage any state, doesn't do nothing. Okay. Another thing we would want to do here, let's see if we have a comments. Okay, we do have one. Components. Okay, I think I'll have to create this. Let us create on comments. Let us create Dart file, and I'm going to call this loading. It's going to be a stateless widget. I'm going to call this loading. And this is just to make sure we don't have to write circular progress indicator every time. You can just call this widget. So just provide the center, and the child of our center is going to be circular progress indicator. That's all we want. And going back to our sign up, we will want to check what's the state of the user. So that would be user. Oops. So if the user status is equal to status authenticating, we will want to, if that's true, we will display loading. If that's not true, we'll display our stack. That's that. Let's go back to our login and try to make this work as well. Same old thing. If the status of the user is equal to authenticating, we're going to display this loading, or else we're going to display this tab. And this was it, guys. This was it. Now it's time to test the code. We wrote a lot of code, but we did set up our business logic, our provider, and then we're managing the states there, and the UI is just a reflection. Okay, let's do a test to see whether it did work or not. Okay, I hope it works, because if it doesn't, I'm probably going to sleep. It's almost 5 a.m. now and I'm still up making videos for you guys. This is how much I love you. Okay, let's let it process a bit. And this is working for this part, because if you are able to see our login screen, means that the thing is working for now. The first part. Let's try to create a user to see if that's going to work as well. Test 3 or 4, I don't know which test is this. Test 4 .com 1 2 3 1 2 3 sign up. Okay, we have our user probably signed up, but it wasn't supposed to come back here. Okay, when I restart the app, it changes. So we will fix how that thing works on our next video. I will fix that particular part. Okay, or maybe the issue was to make sure we finish this video properly, where the issue was, or why didn't it change without me having to do that. But okay, we'll have a look into that shortly. But now let's see if we can go and implement our sign out now. Log out, that's it. And instead, and you see how we used to do this? Let's try to just go to our login or sign up. Copy this line of code, go back to home, and from home we're going to paste it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the power and the magic of using provider to manage our states. This is just magic. And here at the very bottom, you can just do user dot sign out. Let's see if it works. And it does work. So I had a small error here, still have to check that. Let's see if the login works as well. Testful at test.com, and then we have 123 123, and it does work as well perfectly. Let's try to do a sign out and give maybe wrong credentials. What about that? And see if this is being handled or not. Sign in failed. Perfect. That's perfect. You can have your sign in failed just like that. So guys, this was the complete structure for the sign up and sign in. Even though for the sign up we still have to do a small modification on this method, I think. But we still have to do a small modification here to see what's wrong. Why didn't we have that changed automatically? But we're going to change to see that on our next video. For now, that's all guys. I hope you did enjoy this video and if you did, leave a like, leave a comment. See you on the next one. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel, and here I am again with our e-commerce video. I took a lot of time to produce another video because of this and that, but that's not the goal here. Let's go back to it. Well, wait, before we even get into the video, there's something I would like to let you guys know. I just created this Facebook group called Everything Flutter. Here you can come, you can post your doubts. If you want, can be doubts related with the videos I post, or doubts related to anything uh, related to Flutter, right? You can have doubts on your own projects. You may need some tips if you want to share your work, anything and everything related to Flutter, we can communicate here. And another reason that made me create this group is that a lot of times I see you guys having doubts, and most of the time some doubts are related, but you guys just post them in different videos on the comments, and it's hard for me to keep track of all of the comments and reply to all of the doubts. So here it's going to be easier to have access to me or to other people watching the videos, other Flutter developers, right? Enough with the talking. Make sure you go to, to your Facebook and join the group. It's an open group. Just go and join. I'll leave the link in the description, right? Let's get back to our video. Well, since our last video, a lot happened, and I believe that you can see that on the UI. On this particular video, unfortunately, I'm not going to actually teach you guys how I did this because I kind of changed the UI completely for the time. I was kind of busy and I didn't have the time to post. What are we going to do in this video? I'll walk you through what I did, right? So that from the next video on Monday, we will start fetching data from our Firebase. Perfect. This is what you have, and I believe that you guys will need to just go and pull this code from the repo. If this is your first video, great. You can just go. Link of the source code is going to be in the description. And if it's not, probably you will need to just pull the code as well, right? To make our lives easier, mine and yours, right? So this is the new UI we have, and I believe it looks better. And this is what we have for our sign up page. And I'll create the fake account here. Santos, it's enough. I can put here santos at test.com and my password 123 123. Let's sign up. The very first thing you're going to see is that our home page changed, and I'm going to open the file and try to walk you guys through what I did to have things looking like that. Okay, I tried to comment on the code as much as I could so that when you guys are reviewing the code, it's going to be super easy for you guys to understand what's happening. And I tried to keep this as clear and clean as possible, right? So here we have, 1 second. Okay, here we have our home screen. I decided to separate these into sections. First, we have our custom app bar, which are these three icons here. I can expand this and you guys will see. Oops. I have our custom app bar here, and if I open, 1 second, before I forget, I changed the project structure as well. If you can see, we had two directories, one called commons and another called components. I decided to change it to widget, screen, provider, and DB to make it easier. And on our widget, we just have a group of common widgets throughout the screens, and like this card, we may need to use this in other screens, so we don't have to be writing this code all of the time, right? So we have our custom app bar here, which is the first thing. If I go open it, you'll see that this is just these three icons here. Going back to our home page, we have our search widget, which is this text field here, right? And then we have our featured products. This is another widget, which is this list view builder. I just set the axis of this list view builder to horizontal, and I have these cards there. I can go and open up this section of the code, and if you see, we just have a list view builder that returns featured card, and a featured card is a widget for this card here, right? And it has name, price, and picture. Simple as that. And going again back to the home page, we have our product card, which represents this section here. And if I expand this, this is what you're going to get, the code to make this possible. One of the reasons why I didn't record while doing this is because we spent a lot of time working with the UI of the project, and now I'm trying to focus on the back-end structure of the project, right? The cloud functions, the Firebase stuff, HTTP requests if we need any, right? So and I wanted to make the project beautiful and ready to use so that you guys can use this for your potential customers. You can put this on your GitHubs as well, and to make it ready to use, simple put. And we have a new screen as well I created called the project details, and this looks way more better than what we used to have. And the code for this is here in the screens, and we have project details. Maybe I still need to organize this into widgets and the same way we did to our homepage, right? But we can do that together so you guys will understand what's going on. But here we have our image, the price, the colors. So the idea here is that on the admin side, when we set the colors are going to be displayed like this for the user, and the sizes are going to be displayed like that. Then we have the description, the buy now button, add to cart button, and to add this to our wish list. So this is all I did. This is all of the changes. I've done. And from the next video, which is going to be coming up on Monday, we will start fetching our data from the database. But obviously we will need to change a bit the way we are storing our data into the database. We may need to add some additional information there, like for example, if you see here, we have this project on sale. So we will need to have a way to say, oh, set a product has a sale product, so that this will be displayed to the user on sale. And probably in the future we can even add the sale percentage, like 50% off and stuff. And we need to have a way to set some products as featured products, so that they will be displayed here as featured products, right? So guys, this was it. I just came here to show you guys, try to explain you guys what happened with our new UI. Tell you guys that we back Monday. Today is Friday. Monday we're going to have our first video on fetching the data from the database, but we will need to modify a bit the way we're storing the data on the database, and then we're going to fetch that to our user side of the app, right? So hopefully you did like this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave the thumbs up. Don't forget to activate the small bell button so you'll be notified every time I post. And if you're not a member of the family, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to go to your Facebook and search for everything Flutter. Join the family. I'll be posting there as well, and you can get in touch with me way more easily. Take care. See you guys on the next one. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. Well, I start this video with sad news. Kind of sad because we were supposed to have this video out yesterday, and yesterday was Monday, and it was a very long video. But for whatever reason, my recording software just corrupted the video, and I had to start everything all over again. And honestly, I couldn't do that, and I was tired, so I decided to come and continue today. Okay, let's go straight to the video. But even before that, if you didn't go and join the family on our Facebook group, make sure you go there, type everything Flutter, be part of the family. I'll leave the link for this group in the description. Any doubts regarding this video, regarding Flutter, regarding anything, if you want to post, you feel free, go and join the family, right? Coming back to it, if you take a look at our dashboard, it's completely different from what we used to have. And I did change the UI. Of Unfortunately, we don't have that recorded because of the issues I had, but this is just UI change. Nothing you guys cannot do, and I'll leave the code for this in the description so you guys can come and check, right? Why did I decide to change the dashboard UI? Because I want this to be eventually a production app, maybe for you guys, something you can use. So it has to be straight to the point. It has to be something good, right? We had couple features here, like our navigation bar is at on the side and all, but this is not working yet. So we just have them like this. The only thing that's working here is our products page, and this is what I want to show you guys. When you hit products, you will see that our products page or our add products page is completely different from what we used to have. The first change I did is now we don't upload 3 pictures, because that used to take a lot of time to upload the picture, and it would consume our storage very shortly, right? So now we only uploading 1 picture. We have the option to select colors from the color for the available color options, and I gave this one. You can give the colors you want, right? Because if you remember, on our user side we had a section where the user has to pick the color he wants. Then we have another section where we select available sizes and have these switches to set if the product is on sale or not. right? And then the rest is basically the same. I went ahead and created some fake categories. Now we only have men and kids, and for the brand we only have Nike, right? So this video is going to be the first part to the videos where we load the data from the database. Now let's add one more product, and this can be this one. And let's say we still have white, we only have white and black as the available colors. We have large, extra large, and XXL, and this is a featured product. For example, name, uh, good blazer, it's for men. We have 75 available, and the price is 300.99. Add product. We will change the way the loading icon looks like, but that's not the main thing to do now. So the product was added to the database. So this is all the changes that were done on the admin side, right? Now here on our editor we have the user side of the app, and don't mind this name, chat app. This is just a mistake I did way before, when I was naming the project, right? So don't worry, this is our e-commerce app. What's happening here? Let me put this on full screen for us to be able to, first of all, let's go to our database, and I'll try to show you guys how our data is structured. If you see, we have brands, categories, users, but now we're interested in products, right? So for the products, this is what we have. We have brand, Nike, category, kids. We have a list which contains the set of colors, available colors for that particular product. We have, if the product is a featured product, we have the name of the product, we have the price, the quantity, if the product is on sale or not, and for this particular one it's not, and we have the available sizes for that particular product. So this is how the data is structured on our database. Now on the app we have to create a class model that's going to fetch this data and create an object with these properties: brand, category, colors, and everything, right? If we go back here, I created, you'll have to go to our lib folder and create a folder called models. And for this particular model, I gave the name of this file product.dart, because this model is going to model our products according to the way we have them on our database. The very first thing we're going to do here is we are going to import Cloudflare Store, because we are going to use this eventually, right? So this is the first thing we're going to do. After this, we are going to create a class called product. This is what we're going to be using to model our product from the database. So you'll create this class and you call the class product, right? Now here we are going to create a set of constants, and if you pay attention, these constants are the names of these fields here: brand, category, and all. So these constants are the name of these fields here, right? And be sure that here we don't care about the data type that the field stores. String, everything, all of those are string constants because they represent the name of the field, right? That's why we have constants. Why do we have this? When we want to access a field, we can have multiple methods inside of this class that will access the same field. So to make sure that we don't mistype the name of the field in couple methods, and that can generate a problem, we'll create constants with the name of that particular field, and we're going to use to reference those constants to have access to the fields, right? And then we have to create a set of private variables. Now here we are curating variables that are going to store the type of data present in each of these fields, right? For example, for brand, this is going to be a string because on our field brand, that's a string. If you see something like colors, for example, colors is going to be a list of strings, and if you see here, this is where we have white, black. This is a list of strings. So we are going to create our private variables, brand, category, ID, all of the product's properties, price, the quantity, and all of that, right? Quantity, which is an integer, the price is a double, and boolean to set to check if the product is featured or not. Sorry for the noise. Okay, now these variables are private, meaning we cannot access this from the app or from other classes. So we have to create a way for us to access these private variables, and that's when we use getters. Using getters, we can get the values of the variables, but we cannot change them, right? And that's a safe approach to follow. Now here we have a collection of getters, and if you see, by convention, the getter has the same name as the will have the same name as the variable. For the private variable brand, the getter is going to be called brand as well. Now when we want to access the brand of a particular product, we are going to use this property of the product object called brand, and brand is going to return the value of our private variable brand, meaning we cannot change the brand of the product because we cannot access this private variable outside of this product class, but we can see it's like we are giving a read-only access or permission. We can only read the properties, but we cannot change inside of the app. Now we're going to create getters for all of the properties of the product, for the brand, for the category, for the ID, for the name, the picture, and all of these properties are going to require getters, right? Now we need a manner to initialize these variables with the data that we are going to get from our database. That's why we are going to create something called a named constructor. And basically, a named constructor is a constructor with a different name, right? With a specified name. Constructor that's going to be called. We can call this constructor when we are creating a particular object of that class. So we generated a named constructor, and the name constructor generated is called from snapshot. We are going to take one parameter called document snapshot, which is something we're going to get from the database. This is the document snapshot that we're going to be referencing to. And for the document snapshot, we will say the document snapshot dot data featured, which is going to be this field, the featured field. Then we're going to assign the value of that field to this particular variable featured, our private variable, right? So we are going to do this for every single field. We are going to retrieve the data from every single field on the database, and we are going to assign those values to these private variables here inside of the class. And then we are going to read those values using the getters, right? So when we create an object of this class, of the class product, we are going to read the data from the database. We are going to assign that the values to these private variables, and we will be able to read that using the getters inside of the app, right? I know that here was a lot to take in, and maybe it was kind of confusing for you guys, but I really hope you guys did understand this, because that's the first part, and I didn't want to make this very long and super complex. I have to make sure that you guys understand what we are doing as we are doing it, right? So after this, on our next video, we are going to actually start reading these values from our app, right? So I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to dislike it and leave a comment telling me why you didn't like it. And I see you guys on our next video that hopefully is going to come tomorrow, right? See you. So on this video, we want to start fetching this data from our Firebase database to our app. Currently, let me open up the app. Currently we have something like this where we are loading this data. We actually just hard coding this. But this video is going to be separated into two steps. The first one, we are going to make sure that our app is ready to get data from our Firebase database, which is creating a model to receive that data. And after our app is done, then we are going to fetch the data from the database and display the data on our app. I hope you guys are excited for that. So guys, we are right back to our series, the e-commerce Flutter e-commerce app. Apologies for the long delay. Unfortunately, I have to work on a couple different projects, and it has been kind of hard to find time to record. But nevertheless, here we are, and on this video, we are going to do something extremely important to our app, which is fetching the featured products from our Firebase database, right? Rather than having them here hard coded, if I can call them like that. We are going to fetch this from our database. Now, from now on, I'll just focus on the user side of the app, and I'll insert the data directly on our Firebase database. And maybe when we are about to finish this side of the app, we can work more on our admin side of the app. With that being said, let's analyze the structure we have for our products. Let's go to home. Okay, now something is bad here because we don't have a model for our products. We are kind of hard coding things into our app. The very first thing we are going to do here is coming to our app and delete couple fields. Okay, so now here we have our basic structure. What we will want to do now is create another folder, and now we are going to call this model/product. So basically we are creating a directory called models, which we are going to use to model different objects or objects of the app, and we are creating products model. This is what we are trying to do here. So what do we need from a product? Import. Actually we don't have to import nothing here. We can just write class product, and that's all. Now let's think together. I'll create some static constants here. And the first one we are going to need is the name. And you will understand why we are creating these constants. This is supposed to be product. Is the name, and then price. That's another thing we need. What else do we need? Brand. What else do we need? As as a matter of fact, let me just copy this tree here and paste them again. Okay, we have brand. What else do we need? Colors, of course. Mm, quantity. Sizes, which will tell us the available sizes. And now we are going to create another variable called another static constant called on sale, and another one called featured. Right? Perfect. So the name is going to be the name of the product, price, obviously, brand, self-explanatory, colors, quantity, sizes, on sale. We are going to use this to define if our product is on sale or not. If true means that it's on sale, if false means that it's not on sale. And featured, we are going to use this to check whether a product is a featured product or not. Okay. Now, these are just constants. Now we have to create the variables. The first one is going to be a string name. And I usually create these variables private so that they cannot be changed outside of this class. Price, it's going to be double. Brand, it's going to be a string because it's a brand name. So colors, it's going to be a list. Quantity is going to be an integer. Sizes is going to be a list, which is the list of available sizes, right? Then this is not supposed to be capital list. Okay, then we have two booleans, one for the on sale and the other for the featured. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, perfect. Now we are going to set some getters. Basically, getters will allow us to access these variables. We cannot change them, but we can read these private values. So I'll just comment here getters. String get name, and usually the getter has the same name as the private variable. The only difference is that it doesn't have this underscore because it's not private anymore. And then after that, we are going to have our brand. And then after our brand, need our price. Then we need our quantity. Then we need a list of colors. Okay, I'll leave the name as it is, but I was afraid we may find some problems here with these colors, but I think not. Then we have a list of sizes. And finally, we have our two booleans. One for the on sale, and the other for the featured. Okay, perfect. So here we have our basic structure for our products. All right. And by now maybe you don't understand the use of this, but I will explain why I have this here. Okay, let's continue structuring our project, our products inside of the app, because before we fetch the data from the database, we want to make sure that our app is ready to get the data from the database, obviously. So let's continue. Now, after we have this, we are going to create our named constructor. Hopefully I didn't commit any typo. Anyways, and we are going to call this product dot from snapshot. And the snapshot is what we are going to get from our database, from Firebase Firestore. So I may need to import here Firebase Cloud Firestore, because we will use this. Now here I'm going to use our document snapshot, and I'm going to call it snapshot to set some values. I can put this on full screen for now. Let's start with the name. Sorry, it's supposed to be equal. Then we're going to have snapshot data, or it can have something like map data is equal to. This is just to make our work easier. Okay, so here we'll just use data. Normally here we would do something like name, and this is completely fine, but the problem is that for every single function you are going to create that may need to access this field on the database, you will have to define this name. And if you commit a typo on one of those methods, you are going to have a big problem. That's why I have the names defined here on these static constants, so that here I can just call name, and this will work fine. Then we are going to have brand, just like that. And do the same thing for all of the other fields. Price being equal to data price, and I will just copy this and paste it. And we have price. Now we need quantity, which is going to be equal to quantity. Then we have colors, which is going to be equal to colors. Then we have sizes, which is going to be equal to sizes. And our final two are going to be what's this? On sale and featured. On sale obviously is going to be equal to on sale, and featured is going to be equal to featured. So using this named constructor, we will be able to fetch our data from our database and use that on our app, right? Now I will create a constructor so that we can test this thing out. No, but that would be just a waste of time. Anyways, now we have to do the same thing on our Firebase database. Oh, there's something missing. I just realized. There's something missing here. One of the most important things here is the image. Then we have image here. This the image actually is just going to be, let me write it. Probably has image URL, and it's going to be a string because it's a URL, and it's going to be image URL. We have here image URL, and we'll need to set a getter for this. So let's define image URL, and we come over here and we define image URL as well. Data image URL, and this is self-explanatory as well. It's just going to be the URL for our image. So here we have our structure, we have our model for our product, meaning that we are halfway there. Now what we have to do is we have to go to our database, and I'll insert this directly. I'll create this product directly into our database, and then we fetch that back to our app. So with uh, this basic part out of the way, we are going to move to our stage 2, where we go to our database and actually insert these fields. Let me open Chrome, and if you have a look here, we already have a couple images here, but I uploaded new ones as well. So what I'll do, I'll click on this, and here we have the image URL given. All right. If I want to, I can click on this URL and you'll be able to see the image. and this is one of the images. And we have another image here, but for the time being we are going to use this one. You can copy it from here, or you can copy directly from here. Copy link address, and let's go to our database. Sorry for the speed, my connection isn't that great. That's not new, but whatever, we do what we have to do. But okay, we're almost there. You can go to products, and if you have a look here, oh, that's good because I don't have to do nothing, it's already here. We have our brand name. Oh, the structure was good. We have our colors, the name of the product, the picture. Here I used picture, not image URL. The price, the quantity. Okay. Actually, I don't have to insert the data manually because our admin app does that already. I must have forgotten that. Oh, okay. I just remembered that we missed two fields here, which is the ID and the category. So again, we are going to do the same thing. Here we have ID, here we have category, and I think it looks better if I have the ID here. We need to define the ID here, that's why I commented on that variable. ID, category, it's supposed to be category with lowercase. Okay, done. And finally here we'll need to have ID, then category. Fine. I can come and uncomment this. So having a look on our database, it's good because we already have these things set up. Let me just go and change a couple names. The name of these constants here must be the same as the name of the fields here. So featured should be just featured, and this should be just sale. The good thing is, if if I had this manually inserted here, I would have to come back to these places and change manually. But now I just change the value of these constants and it's all. Now for the image URL, we know that on our database we have picture, so I will just follow that and use picture as well. What else? Alright, that's all. ID, category, name, price, brand, colors, quantity, sizes, sale, featured, and picture. Now I will refactor this just to make sure that we have the same name everywhere. Okay, apart from that, I think there's nothing else to change. The good thing is that our database is already ready. Already ready. And now the only thing that it's left for us to do is to actually fetch all of this data inside of our app, but we had to structure our class here that's going to receive the data from Firebase before we continue. But I don't want to make this video any longer, so I will stop from here, and this is going to be the part 1, and on the next video we are going to actually fetch those uh, data on the database into our app, because we already have the structure here set up. Nice seeing you guys, and see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. Well, the weather is not on our favor because it's raining a bit today, but I just hope you guys don't mind and that doesn't interfere with our video. Today we are going to finally display something on our app that we are going to load from our Firebase database, and without no long talking, let's just start doing that. Before we even get started, I wanted to give a very big thank you to today's sponsors, Dashlane. Well guys, I've been using Dashlane for a while now, and I can't stress enough how it makes my online life way more easier and way more better. You don't have to worry no more about memorizing your credentials or your credit card details, because all of that is safely stored on Dashlane. Go ahead and download Dashlane from the link on the description and get 30 days for free on premium. I'll put this on full screen for now, and I'll show you guys how can we go about doing that. We'll go to libraries, DB, and I will just create one, and I'll call it, I'll create a new Dart file and I'll call it products. Okay, perfect. And at the start, I'll just write class. I'll call this product service. We don't have to think too much because on our other video we created this, and I believe we can make use of this. I'll copy here, paste it. Don't mind if you don't understand it. I'll explain it to you again. Copy here, paste it. Let's go to our Firebase. My internet collection. My internet collection.
sorry, my internet connection is slow as always. I think by now you guys are used to that. So just bear with me here. In the meantime, we can come here and just import this. Now here we have our Firestore instance, and for the reference, I'll change this name to collection. It makes more sense, I think. And our collection here is going to be called products, because we are dealing with the products collection. And I'll put this here. Since we only want featured products, I'll define it as get featured products. We don't need this suggestion part here, and I'll just do get a collection with Firestore collection. We want to get a collection where our property called featured. Let's go to our product models to see how we did this. This property featured, go back here, where featured is equal to true, since it's a boolean. Get documents, then we are going to return this. Let's go back again to our model. Actually here, instead of returning returning a list of document snapshots, we are going to return a product, a list of products. Okay, we'll need to import this. Now let me zoom out and explain to you guys what's happening here. So we created this. We are importing Dart async because of the feature method. Sometimes you have to do that. We are importing our models for the product, and we're importing Cloud Firestore. Okay, then we create an instance of Cloud Firestore here. We name our collection products, because that's the collection we want to access. And in here we are just creating a method that it's going to return a list of products, of featured products, right? But there's something we may need to do here, because our documents here, this is just a list of snapshots. So to make this a list of products, we can do something like this, and we are going to do map. And what map will do is the following. Before everything, let me create a list of products. We are going to call this featured products. At the beginning, it's going to be null, not null, empty. And here we are going to our list of document snapshots. So we are mapping for every single value. You can call it value snapshot the way you want. We will want to return something, and that something is going to be featured products dot we want to add here, remove this return statement, and at the end, of course, we're going to return featured products. But what we're doing here is for each one of these documents, featured products, we are going to add value, and inside of value, we are going to add products from snapshot value. Okay, this may seem a bit complex, so here instead of value, to make it easier for you guys to understand, I'll call it snapshot, and I'll paste snapshot here. So to explain this method to you guys, what we're doing basically is we are accessing our collection called products, and here we want to select where featured is true, only for featured products. We will get the products, and then we are going to get a snapshot. So what we are doing here is that for that snapshot, we are going to get a list of document snapshots. So the documents inside of this collection, basically. So when we do map is a method that it's going to iterate through our list, and it's going to execute the logic for every single element inside of that list. So map, we are doing the following: for every snapshot inside of the list of document snapshots, we are going to add that to our list of featured products. Then what we are going to add here is basically product dot from snapshot. This is going to create a new product object according to the method we created on our last video, and then we are going to add that product to our featured products. So this is basically what we're doing here, and afterwards we are returning our featured products. So guys, let's have our continuation. Now we have this method. It's time to test it, but before we do that, let me just open here and make sure the name of our collection is correct, which is okay. This should work in theory. Let's test it. How will we go about doing that? Here we have let's do a good thing. User provider. Okay, this is good. This is useful. Let me create another one, and I'll call this app provider. So have our second one. So I better call it app underscore provider. Okay, done. Every single time you create a provider, the very first thing you will want to do is go to your main file. Okay, here we are using change notifier provider. That's not what we want. So okay, I don't have to remove it. I can just change it to to a multi-provider. We are going to have an error there, I know. Remove this, and this is going to take a list of providers, so this might do, and change here, just write providers. And inside here is where we are going to define our change notifier provider value, and the value it's going to be our named constructor. Simple as that. We are going to repeat the process in here for our change notifier provider. We will go back to our app provider. Okay, let me go app, let me go up, and now here I'll import Flutter material.dart, because here I will use a mixin and app provider with change notifier. This is all we need to do. Let's go back to our main file, and in here we are going to use our app provider. Just about that. Import it and it's good to go. Now we can use our provider. Let's define a couple things here on our provider. The very first thing we are going to need here is a list of products. Which by default is going to be null. Best practices, we need to do that. Make this a private, and to access that we're going to use a getter, and then we are going to create another list of products and get we are going to get featured products. So this is the only way we are going to access featured products. We may need a constructor here. That would be good. Methods, and the very first method we are going to use is get featured products. I may need to make it async. Oh, I don't know, what was I thinking? Okay. Now, inside of this method, we are going to need something else. So I'll just define product services, and the name of this is going to be product services. products service, that's the correct name. We are going to import here products service. Let me import this. And what's the use of this? Now here on our product service, we are going to do featured products to be equal to await product services dot get featured products. Right? And one thing we'll want to make sure we do is notify listeners. I want to make this a private method, and I will call it from our constructor. So what we're saying is that at the beginning of the app, we'll take the time and just import our featured products. The logic is going to be exactly the same for products on sale as well, but this should work fine. Now, to see if this is working or not, we'll go to our home, and in here we have exactly in here, let's just create a variable called a provider. Import provider. Oh no. Of context, and here for the context we are going to pass app provider. So we are basically saying that the provider we're creating is of the type app provider. So I can come here and do the same thing. Now to see if this actually worked, let's just find a place here, a random place, and just stick some text in there. And this text is just going to have app provider dot featured products dot length dot to string. That's all. So if we see a number here, means that our method is working fine. Let me add some style to make sure we are going to be able to view this. Color is going to be colors.black. So this is just for testing purposes. We are going to remove this line afterwards just to test if our logic is working.